Hi guys, my name's Richard and today I'm going to share with you two useful apps that you can use when going to China. Now, when you go to China, the internet's a little bit different there, and the way that the people use communication tools and transportation applications is completely different to what you would use, basically in the rest of the world. So what I'm going to share with you today is two useful apps that you can use that will help you communicate better and help you get around better and for cheaper. So now, first of all, you would have to have a cell phone that can read Chinese characters if you're going to China, and that would be some sort of smartphone that you have that possibly is an iPhone or it's an Android, but it will be capable of reading Chinese characters. Right, so let's get started, and we're just gonna use my iPhone. Oh no, you're gonna know my password. Anyway, so let's just head to. Firstly, you need to install a Chinese keyboard. So Chinese writing keyboard on your iPhone or Android. And the first, I'm not too sure about Android, but I know that that iPhone, you do this in settings. So let's just go to our settings. So wherever you are on your iPhone, just or your Android, go towards settings. And on the iPhone, we go here to General. Let's go to General and scroll down a little bit. And you want to get to Keyboard. So click on Keyboard. And here we have keyboards. Just click there. Now I've already got the Chinese pinyin and handwriting already installed. So let's just delete these so I can show you how to add a new keyboard. So here you would click Add New Keyboard. So just click there. Now what you're going to look for, now because I'm currently in China, the suggested keyboards I have is Chinese Simplified. But what you want to look for if you're in your home country before you come abroad is trying to look for Chinese Simplified. It'll probably be there by Chinese Traditional. Don't click on Chinese Traditional, click on Chinese Simplified. So let's click on Chinese Simplified. And what you want is these ones, the pinyin QWERTY and the pinyin AZERTY and the handwriting. So just click 1, 2, 3. Get those. Don't worry about stroke. That's for more advanced users. And then when you're done with that, you just press done. So now you have your keyboards. So now that you are capable of writing in Chinese, this will be an essential step in the future, and that I'll show you in the end of this or later in this video. So now the first app that we're going to talk about is the communication app. Now this is the main communication app that's used in China, and a lot of people in China use it. You're barely going to find somebody that doesn't, and it will help you essentially to communicate with anyone local or maybe some of the foreigners that are in China, and just basically have a social sense or basic social sense online through an application. And it's this particular app right here, which is Wechat. Now let's go. Well, basically we have to install it. So go to your App Store on your iPhone or your Android, and just go to search. Android has this as well. It can work on Android or iPhone. Just go to either the Google Play Store or Apple or the App Store, and just go to search and just search for Wechat. Now, just keep in mind that the internet in China is quite slow in certain areas because, basically of restrictions towards most Westerner websites. So you're going to have a real problem with a lot of sites for back home towards, when you're in China. Anyway, so here we have Wechat, and you can see this is a symbol you're looking for, the two faces, and or the two bubbles. And you would install it. I've already installed it, so it doesn't apply to me. But once you've installed it, just click open, and you would get this globe, and this would be the first thing that you would see when you come into the site. But after that, they would ask for you a bunch of information, and you would get a ton of information, or not a ton, but just some information you have to type in about yourself and your personal information to kind of characterize your specific account. So say you meet a friend in China and you want to add them, then what you would do is either they add you or you add them. You would have this other section over here, which is me. So you go click on me, and now you would have here, you would have your account details. So here is me, Rich, and just have to click on here, and then you would have a my QR code, which you can click on and it will give you the QR code, and which looks like this. So you can scan it and then add. And here, if you want to add somebody, you just click on here on Moments, and you would be able to scan up here, which is scan QR code. And if you click on that, then it would, scan the QR code of the other person who has WeChat, and you can add them on WeChat. And once you've added them on WeChat, they pop up in your WeChat bubble, and then you can talk to them and communicate. And you can write. Now, depending if that person could send you in Chinese. As you can see, I can read Chinese characters on my iPhone. It doesn't block it. And I can also write if I click this little globe. And all you have to do is click it once. So if I'm on English mode, I just have to click the bubble, the globe once. Or it will pop up here. And then click the globe again, and here I am here. And if I want to send a message, say ni hao, then here it is. It collectively puts it together, and I can select ni hao. Excuse me. So that is how you would use the Chinese keyboard. But here you would be able to chat with people. Now the nice thing about WeChat is it's not only just a communication site or communication app, it is also kind of a Facebook. So you can come here and there's a section of discovery where you can click on Moments. And Moments gives you your own profile. Like here's my profile, and I can scroll down and look at all my friends and whatever they're posting. And if I see something, I can like it. So here's my girlfriend's posted something. I can just say either comment or I can like and just go like, and just keep on scrolling down and see some pictures or anything like that. Maybe someone's posted something, I can take a look at it. It's just basically, it's like a simplified Facebook. And you can add photos and choose from your own current photos to add, and you can add basically a maximum of 9 of them. Anyway, so this is this communication app that you can use, that basically everyone uses, and is quite useful to have on your phone before you get there, especially if you want to add somebody that you met, or just want to keep up to date with friends around in China. But it's also useful for transportation. So this leads into our second app that we're going to talk about. And this is the transportation app. Now the transportation app is called Baidu Maps. Which is quite useful because some people there might come to China and they'll use Google Maps, but I hear a lot of problems about it. That sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and it doesn't give a clear picture about the buses you can take and the transportation. And because it's Google, you're going to have a little bit of a problem because Google's kind of blocked here. You're not going to get the clearest connection towards anything to do with Google mostly. So what you really want to do is adapt to what the Chinese use, and they use Baidu Maps, which is a great functional map system that allows you to basically get from wherever current location you're at to finding to get to another location using any kind of Chinese symbols, which I'm going to show you how to use through an example, and get to another location that you currently want to get to. So it's also very useful for traveling, especially if you're going to China to travel. It would be useful to have this because all you would need is the Chinese address of the location you want to get to, and you can punch it in and find a bus route. So let me give you an example. So firstly, you need to download this. So just go back to your App Store or Google Play Store, and you hit the search. And also just keep in mind about the internet. So if you want to have this transportation app, you need to know that it's a good thing to have roaming. So what I mean is that if you land up in China, even if it's for travel, try to get yourself a cheap SIM card. Or if you're there to stay or for business or something like that, try to get yourself a cheap SIM card and get a little bit of money on it, because the roaming is actually quite good, but you would need it particularly with this app, because there's not going to be Wi-Fi everywhere. So you would need the app in order to just keep up with your phone, with finding a way to get to the certain buses, or metro or subway, and I'm going to show you how this works right now. So what you need to do is search here, and what it's called is, this is how you spell it. Oh yeah, I'm still on the Chinese keyboard, so remember, if you're still on the Chinese, you can just push this button and we'll go back to English and type in BAIDU space MAPS. Okay, and that's what you're looking for, Baidu Maps. BAIDU space MAPS. And this is what you're going to find. This is the symbol you're looking for, which is Baidu Maps. Now, don't be intimidated by the Chinese writing, but you come here and you can install. Now, I've already installed it. It does take a little while to install because it's quite a big app, so you might need to make a little bit of space on your phone. But once you have it and you've installed it, you can just click here and you can open it. So now we're here at Baidu Maps. Now, this is extremely useful to saving money, because a lot of people that I know, they come over and they have an address that someone's given to them, and they go to a taxi driver and they show the taxi driver that the address, or they try to say it themselves, and the taxi driver knows that they're foreigners, and they know that they can kind of manipulate them and use them, and they end up maybe not dropping their meters, and then you would have to pay an excess amount of money that you know that when you get out the cab you've been ripped off, or they don't do you, they take you to a wrong location. So the beauty of this application is that if you have the Chinese address and are capable of putting it into this application, you're never going to get messed around, because the buses, they're just continuously running, and the metro is running as well, and also you wouldn't have to pay as much money, and you would still get to the location. So let me use an example to show you how this works, because I'm sure you would be quite intimidated by all the Chinese symbols here and the writing, and just not really having a strong understanding of anything that's really being wrote around here. But you can kind of see there's a search pad and a couple of buttons here at the bottom and on the side. But what you need to know is that when you install this application, there will be questions that are asked. The one is about notifications, and do you want them to send notifications? You can say no to that. But the other question is very important when you install this application, and that's the question of them wanting to know your current location. This is important because you want to know you just want to be pinpointed on this app, and then type in the address that you want to go to in order to give you guidance there. Like right now, I have it, and it knows my current location of where I currently am, and this is where I am, the blue dot. So let me use an example. Say you've added somebody on Wechat. So you added them on Wechat, and they have sent you an address. So you've been sent this address, and this is where you need to go meet up with your friend, and it's currently in Chinese symbols. So like here, for example, here's my girlfriend. She sent me a message, and this is I've sent it back to her about the address that I was going towards my friend's house. So here I have the Chinese symbols. So all I have to do is hold down here and click copy. And once I've clicked copy, I can just go back to the Baidu Maps where it's picking up my current location, and I can just click at the top here, and I would go to a search page. Now here at the top with it's beeping, I just have to hold down. Woo. There we go. And I just click paste. And here I have the address. So all I have to do is just search. So here the address is picked up. Now, here I currently am. And here at the bottom is the location that I want to get to. Okay? So don't be intimidated by it. This would be where you are, and this is where you want to go. Okay, you can even look at the Chinese symbols, kind of match it up to get an idea. But the button that you want to push here is the middle one. This one here to guide you. So just click on the middle one. And here we have a selection. Either we have a bus, a cab, or taxi, or walking. Here at the top would just be this little blue arrow is you, and this little red circle is where you're going. Don't worry about the rest of this information. All you need to know is this blue arrow, where you are, and this red dot, where you're going, and which type of transportation you want to take. Now, depending on what city you're in, you might actually have another one, which would be the metro, or the subway, or underground trains of another transportation. I mean, you could be in another city that would have a boat maybe, that will tell you which one would be a good option that you can choose. But for this particular situation, we only have the bus, taxi, and walking, because I currently live in a city that only has one metro line or one subway line. So here we would take the bus. So I want to take the bus, so I click on this top button in the corner here. Now it's delivered me basically from my location to the location I want to go of all the different types of buses. Now it's quite sophisticated, because sometimes if the bus is not currently running at that time, say 187 is not running at that time, then it will switch off and it won't even tell you about it. So when you arrive at that particular bus stop, you can take you don't have to sit there and stand there and wait for a bus that's not going to arrive. But I highly recommend that you look at the bus sign just to double check. So say you've got here, I have to catch 100, so let's use 187 and 29 as an example. So we want to catch one of these buses. These are all different buses, you can take any of these, but let's use the 187 or the 29 bus to get there. So here instantly is a map. Now it's indicating where I am. So over here, firstly, we can see the blue dot again, which is me. And this green dot, this green circle, is currently where I am. This red dot over here is where I want to go, which is to my friend's house. So, and I can take either a bus 187 or bus 29. That's the beautiful thing, that you can still read the numbers. Just remember that these are the different type of bus numbers. So if we zoom up here, let's zoom in, and I can quickly show you that the nice thing about this app, and this is why I told you about having the roaming, is that if you look at the circle, you'll see there's a little arrow, a blue arrow that's pointing that direction. And that's currently because my phone is acting like a compass. So if I turn the phone, you can see the arrow moving. So all I have to do is basically point my phone in the right arrow direction and walk that way down the road, and it will take me to the location that I need to go. Okay, so you can just use it as a compass. And then you just carry on walking down until you get to the bus stop. And over here is the bus stop, and you can see there's the bus 187. Now I urge you, make sure that you look at the bus terminals page of different types of bus numbers, and just make sure that this bus is still running, is currently running at the time, because you don't want to end up standing there for an hour waiting for the bus. Just check, say 187, look on the board and see they will have a time there, maybe 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night, 5 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night, and you can just have an idea. Everything's all in those numbers, so you would have you can just read it and you'll figure out, okay, fine, the bus isn't stopped, and then you can look at the app again, or maybe instead of taking 187, you can just take 29 if it's still currently running. Okay, and then you can sit on the bus, and once you're on the bus, which would cost only about 2 kwai, or 2 RMB to be honest with you, compared to an expensive taxi, this is where you would save the money. So here you could sit on the bus and follow the bus, and it would take you all the way up until you could sit on the bus and watch this movement until you get to this location. And when you're at this bus stop, you just get off the bus, follow your compass, and walk towards your location, and then you're there. And the nice thing about this is that, like I told you, you don't want to get messed around with the taxis, because say here also you can take a look, because this is actually a short distance that I'm going. But say you're in Beijing and you at your hotel and you want to get to the Great Wall of China, it might be very, very far. And catching the bus might take a little bit longer, but maybe you're going to save yourself 100 RMB from maybe the taxi driver messing you around, or maybe just having to pay the taxi driver, compared to maybe paying 2 RMB for maybe taking an extra 30 minutes. But let me show you. So here at the bottom, you can also click information, this little blue button over here. And when you click on this, it will show you all your details, like 154 meters, and you have to take this bus, and then you have to walk another 348 meters. But here, it tells you about the taxis. And it actually costs you 12, that's the symbol for RMB, or Kwai, or Yuan, the money that they use in mainland China. And here, it costs you 12 Kwai, where actually this bus, which I took last night, costs 2 Kwai. So you save yourself 10 RMB. 10 of their money, which is a fantastic saving if you're going to be consistently being transported around. But you also miss getting messed around by the taxi drivers, especially if you can't speak Chinese, where you could just catch the bus and it's a quick process for you. So the other thing that I want to show you is that if you basically don't have the Chinese address, or you're looking online for the Chinese symbols, here again you have the chance to type in the Chinese symbols with your Chinese keyboard. So what I mean is that, say you don't have the address, in hand, or you have it in hand, but you have the pinyin. And what the pinyin is like, for example, I change to this keyboard over here, and now I go to the Chinese keyboard, and say I have an address that's called Jianlu, okay, which is Jian Lu. So maybe you go online, you want to find out where the Great Wall of China is, and there is the Chinese writing, but you can't get it to type into here. But they do have the pinyin, which is the English writing that you can use to get the Chinese symbols. So let me use an example here. Say my girlfriend, she sent me the address for home last night, which is here. This is the Chinese address for my home. But here she has also wrote down the pinyin, which is exactly the same as this, but wrote in English. So, for example, like here, Jianguo Zhonglu Cai Shi Qiao. Now, all I have to do is type the first word in the Chinese characters. So here I can go back to my Baidu Maps. Here I am again at the search. And here I have my Chinese keyboard open. So all I have to do is type in the first word, Jian. Okay. And now let's go back and we see, yeah, Jian Gua. So I've got Jian. And, I have to type that again. And we're looking for this symbol. But maybe we're looking for a bunch of other symbols, because Jian can be a bunch of different symbols. So all these different symbols are here. So all you have to do is match it up. And by luck, the first one is the symbol we need. And here is my address for home. It's already come up. So all you have to do is just get the next word, like Guo. I can come back, type in here, and G-O-U. And there it is, first one. And then you can just type in the rest of the address, and eventually it would create a map. And all you have to do is find how to get there. Click again on this item, and I can just say walk. And there it will give me the exact location on how to get there. So these are the two essential apps that I think you should need in order to firstly communicate in China, and secondly be perfectly prepared for having a cheap way of getting around and not getting messed around by the taxi drivers. Unless you are in an extreme rush, then it's essential that you take a taxi. But if you're traveling and you just want to get around for cheap, I really recommend that you use Baidu Maps and use the Chinese keyboards into typing the addresses in so that you can get around for cheap.